What's up Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video it's a really cold day here in the garage, but we are gonna push through and just get shit done. So let me show you what we have to work with today and how far I have come on the rear wheel drive build so far. So to start with, 1.2 degrees Celsius in the garage. It's really cold, but as I said, we are gonna push through. I have done a little bit since last time. You can see right here, let's call it the prototype placement of the rear axle. So I have been cutting a little bit in the subframe to make room for the drive shafts from the differential. And we are going to use the ABS signal that's usually it's mounted right here in the wheel bearings on the 9.5. But since we have custom wheel hubs right now, we are going to take the signal that's originally on the Opel Omega right here. So it's just two cables and the sensor sits right here, readouts, so it's very much like the front drive shafts on the 9.5. And then we have this cable going back to the original. This is also two cables. So we will just make a custom connector. So it will fit to this connection right here. And we will try to work it out so we can use the speed signal from the rear. Otherwise, I have been installing this. This is not the final installment. I had to grind out quite a bit to get this in, but it spins freely right now. And this is just so cool to see, because if you remember, we started with this 3D printed model. We did two of them because the bolt pattern wasn't correct on the first one. And now we have this, and it's spinning and it looks super solid. A very nice construction. So we are going to do some work here today, and on the other side you can see how it fits, and it fits so good. I think this is going to work out really well. So what we are going to do is we are going to reinforce with like this bracket right here, and then we will have some additional arms going past so it sits really solid. And I can't hold everything at once, but this beam will go across right here. Then we will make some custom made bushings for the differential that will sit right here. And that's what I'm working with right now. So I had a couple of these subframe bushings that I have just split apart and pushed them in. So I will be welding this ring on, then push the bushing in, and the differential will sit really solid but still not 100% numb. It will have some wiggling, and probably we will not get the baddest of vibrations. So I will continue on these rings right here because I need to grind them out a little bit. Very time consuming, but it has to be done. And parallel with the rear axle, I thought that I would start like this, get this up sitting into the car, and we will have some wiggling room. We will not make the final placement straight away. Then I need to see where we end up with the drive shaft and everything, because if you look from above, this hole is not centered right now, so the differential, if you look here, is the center, and the output or the shaft connection right here is a little bit to the right. So when we are placing the engine, it also needs a little bit, goes a little bit to the right. So that will just be a good thing, because then we will have more space on the driver's side, and we will also be able to take the exhaust system on the side besides the prop shaft. So this will be all good. So that's the initial plan. We will like attack it from both sides. So start with the rear, get everything mounted. Then we will make some more like reinforcements so it sits really sturdy. So nothing will like wiggle or fall out or break. Because I want this to be a real solid build, and you should be able to push it real hard and it should keep up. Because we are aiming for some power in this build, so attack it from both sides, as I said, and then we will see how the prop shaft will sit and how well we will be able to align everything. So my first test, the prop shaft was like 10-15 centimeters short, but then I had the engine sitting like right here. So now we have gained a couple of centimeters as we pushed it back. It might even need to be a little bit pushed back further, which will not be a bad thing. It will only be positive for the weight distribution for the car. And when I test fitted this, the differential was sitting further back as well, and now it's closer to the front of the car. So hopefully we don't have to extend the prop shaft. It might be able to do some spacers, might be doing a spacer in the rear or the front or both of them to correct the length, but we will see. Just get everything up and going, and yeah, then we will see. So I will start with some grinding. That's the easy part, but very time consuming. Here we have the finished bushing holders, or what we should call them. You can see one is pushed full together, the other one's just gently tapped in, and I grinded them down so they are a true like press fit. So they won't sit and wiggle, they will sit really tight. And now we are closing into 3 degrees, so it's getting better. Now we're gonna cut off this reinforcement beam, and this beam right here will also be the holder for the bushing mounts for the differential. So I've grinded this down a little bit. So we are going to cut this off, then tack weld it in and see how it sits. So the rear reinforcement beam is tack welded in, and what I did come up with is that when you place everything on the floor, you sort of try to get angles and stuff like that correct, but you really don't know. And when I lined this up with I put the anti-roll bar, the original one, back in place, and with a little bit of luck we might be able to reuse it. It might get a little bit close to the differential, but I think we will be able to work it out, because it will sit a little bit tighter like this, and yeah, I think we will be able to work it out. It doesn't sit that tight, and the angles was the thing that I was talking about, because I thought that the center of the hub would be somewhere like here, and that would have been perfect, hence why I cut it up a little bit right here. But in actuality, you can see where the anti-roll bar sits right now. It might sit a little bit further back. It's not exact, but it will go something like that. So it will sit more like this. So the center of the drive shaft will be like right here, and this might have to go a little bit higher, because when the suspension is compressing, so we actually need to grind this out right here, so we get a clean cut right through it right here, and then we will have some reinforcements done, and right above here we will have a beam going past that could connect to the bushing later on that will hold the differential. So I think this will be a pretty solid construction in the end. But before we go ahead and do some more work right here, I'm just quickly gonna wipe off the car, because I want to get like a motivation boost out of this. So always keep like stuff a little bit clean, and wash stuff will make it so much more fun to work with. You can see right here when we grind, there is a lot of dust coming in. So we will just do a quick wipe down using some Apex Plus. I think we will do today. Just wipe it down and see it become a lot more nicer.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand, and damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power.
So the idea is not to like make it mint. Of course it will get a full detail as soon as we are done with everything, because it's going to be dusty again, and dusty over and over again as soon as we start to cut and grind. But to keep it this fresh, it just makes it so much more to work around with and work with. So we will try to keep up this sort of level of the build. So let's get into this again. Okay, so I got some very positive news right here. So I'm going to try to recap really quick, because I done some stuff that's not on the video. I removed the subframe, the rear subframe, and if you saw before, the anti-roll bar was laying like right across here, and of course it moves up and down when the suspension is moving, but at its lowest point it's right above here. So here we have the connection for the differential. Remember this right now. So what I did, I attached the rear subframe, just screwed it in. I removed a little bit at the tunnel. Then I cut out some more for the gearbox, so I could move it to the right, as I explained earlier. And I also moved the whole engine package a little bit to the left from this side, but to the right from the driver's side. That means we create a lot more space on this side. So the battery bracket right here is going to go away. So you can see that we have a ton of play right here for placement of the turbo, which will be awesome. So I will try to get the turbo forward a bit so it doesn't sit like underneath the brake fluid cooking that. But we will make some heat shields and blankets, so that won't be a problem. But you can see we got quite a lot of space as it is right now. And it will also be a perfect angle, I think, for the steering rack, because that attaches right here. So we will clear the gearbox without problem, so that's really good. And we will have a little bit of space for the exhaust down there. We will try to squeeze in a 3-inch downpipe at least. 3.5 would have been nice, but we will see. And the positive news is I have been wiggling back and forth if the prop shaft should fit and how I should extend it and stuff like that. And if you remember outside where I showed you the roll bar, the anti-roll bar, this is at its lowest place. Of course it's not mounted in fully right now, but when the suspension goes it will go up and down. But this is like at its lowest spot, as I showed you outside. And what was at the lowest spot outside? That's right, the connection for the prop shaft. So here we have some play. We can move it up and down. Of course this won't move when we are driving, but you get the point. When installing this, it could sit like that and we would have a pretty straight shot at the prop shaft. And we also got some space in between. It's not the biggest of space, but I think we will be able to squeeze in like an exhaust right there. But the placement of the prop shaft and the fact that it's definitely not too short, because we have some, you could extend this because it sits on splines. So we have some adjustments to do, but I think it will fit just as it is right now, which is really, really positive. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the distance from the anti-roll bar until this hardy plate. And this would be so good. This is like bolt on, almost. So really happy about this. So you have to live with that the filming is just getting very much on and off, because there is so much thinking and so much test fitting and yeah, the whole deal. This is not like self-explanatory. It just doesn't happen. So I've been doing some thinking, and as you saw from the previous with the prop shaft, it looks very promising. So the next issue is, okay, will everything fit? Because I measured from the anti-roll bar until the hub, we had like 9 centimeters when it was at the lowest point, and now it's a little bit higher up, but we are like at 5 centimeters. But as I said, this was at the lowest point when it was against the subframe. So I don't know, we are like at 6 centimeters, so 3 centimeters missing. That is totally fine. I can live with that, because either we make a spacer or we just adjust it. But as I said, it's on splines, so it has some leverage, but I just spent a really long while trying to find M10 nuts. I couldn't find any anywhere, and the bolts that go through the subframe right here, I had like one left, so I had to take like old head studs. But just to throw everything back together and see how it looks. So now we have the placement of the anti-roll bar attached. It sits, and it sits free, and this is a pretty high point, I would say, for the wheels. Of course they will bounce up and down, but this is a pretty high point. They will sit a little bit lower, so when they dip down lower, this will also go lower down. But I'm very sure that we are going to be able to utilize and use the anti-roll bar. What I have been thinking about is maybe make this hole go up a little bit more. Then we will have some more play right here, so it won't sit against the differential. That would be one plan. But this is as close to a complete Saab rear-wheel drive subframe that we have come so far. So this is really cool. You can take this and you can twist it, and you will see that everything is moving. So now we got the rear-wheel drive going, and this is the way that it needs to sit because of the arm sitting right here. So here we have the custom Saab prototype arm, and the lower is the stock. There are some I think they are made by a company named Moog or something like that are adjustable lower arms, and I will get those, because then we will be able to get like proper camber, and those are a little bit thinner as well, but still we have some clearance. So this clearance right here will never change, because this will follow. These three arms will follow each other when it compresses the spring on the coilover that I will be running. And the next issue, because a build like this is just full of obstacles to get past all the time. So the next issue is, will the suspension fit? And it sits something like this, and yeah, this will fit also. If I get like a tighter coilover wheel, this will also follow, and we have also plenty of clearance. So far so good, I would say. I'm really happy where the engine placement is. The rear subframe is together. Now I just need to decide the height that I will be installing like the differential at. I think this would be a pretty good height, because I want it to sit as high up as possible so it won't scratch the road. It won't, but it's stupid to put it really low when you can get it high. So where we had the prop shaft right now, this will sit just perfect, approximately where the subframe is right now. So I just have to figure out, like, make a bracket or something that could attach between here, so I have a mounting point for this, the front of the differential as well. So I think I will just make like a long distance between here that it could attach to, because it needs to be detachable as well, because when you loosen everything and drop the differential down, this needs to come off, because the anti-roll bar will be in the way otherwise. So I have to plan for this to happen maybe in the future. So, but I don't know, maybe do another hole for this and grind it up a little bit so I can sit this a little bit higher to start with. But otherwise I think it, yeah, and this also is another obstacle. This arm at the stock Saab is bent down, so it has like room to be bouncing up and down. Since this is straight and makes place for the drive shafts, we need to remove some material right here. You can see Saab has already done it, but it needs to be taken out some more because the trailing arm is straight. Yeah, we will just keep going and see where we end up. This is so sick. To have everything together and moving is just a dream coming true.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
So I think this is getting pretty close to the end for this episode. It started out as a real cold one, but now we are at 7.7 Celsius, so it's getting quite okay. I worked up the heat, and today's episode has been a lot of positive things that has happened. Some things has definitely cleared out. Now I know for sure the drive shafts are long enough, the prop shaft is long enough. We are starting to get some mounting points for the differential. The sad part is that this building right here has to come apart a few times before we could really get things going, but it looks very promising. I don't know what you guys think. You can place a comment down below if you have any suggestions on what to do or if I need to do anything different, but I think this is coming out really good actually. So what I'm planning to do next is actually move the anti-roll bar up a little bit, because when it's at its lowest state it will go down a little bit, and now it sits really tight right here. So I will make like a bracket that I will be threading, so I can use something in between and a long bolt to screw this on, so this will sit also. but this needs to be adjusted in height so it fits perfect with the prop shaft, so we got the correct angle. But yeah, this looks very good so far. I think we're definitely on the right path. So what needs to be done also, we might need to grind down a little bit right here, but now we know the correct angle of it, so I think this will be really good. It's like a big crisscross match of everything, but it's coming together really nice. And I think the parts will not interfere with each other either, so that is a really good thing. But I'm so amazed to be able to just turn stuff and everything turns together. Can't wait to get out and just do a 200-meter burnout with this one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me. And I need more followers to proceed with this build right here. It's going to be pretty epic, I think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.